Hello and welcome to episode 43 of the Smash Ultimate Mod Workshop. This video is part 4 of status scripts, and I'll be going over these fun underscore functions that you might have come across while translating status scripts. What I'm going to do is make it so Meta Knight's neutral B can be cancelled with an aerial. While this can be done with a fighter frame, doing it this way is cleaner and lets the mod have more compatibility with others. Plus, I need an example to show in this video. As per usual status script episode, I'll be doing this with no script whatsoever, so let's get straight into it. I've got Meta Knight's main and main loop statuses here, but we actually need to get more from Gidra. We'll follow all of my steps from episode 29, and then before closing Gidra, what we can actually do is just double-click on one of these fun functions, and what's open here is the function. I've actually gone and already gotten both of the fun underscore functions that you needed, but just so you know how to do it, we can close Gidra now since we have everything that we need. I'm going to work on the main and main loop functions first, and then worry about fun. So I'm going to format this real quick. We'll turn this top section just into special end spin main. We can get rid of all that. We'll replace double space with /t. Also, I'd highly recommend that you watch episode 42 before this one, seeing as I'll just skip over a lot of the stuff that I taught in the previous episode, so please watch that first. We'll take the double underscore, turn that into double colon. We can get rid of implicit. All the lines with tildes, we can mark and delete. This module accessor can get replaced with fighter.module accessor, and app.lua bind can get cleared. And I think we're ready to edit the script now. Ooh, we have a get param int line. So we'll be setting ivar2 equal to these two hashes. So what we need to, we can actually just keep this as it is. If we were to port this move over a different fighter, then we'd need to do some magic with this. But for now, we can just, let's copy this real quick. Let's do #40 new. So, you know, this line is going to be getting a value from one of Meta Knight's parameter files. So we'll just figure out what these are so we can just put them in the hash function, just so we know what it is. So param special n, or nah, let's not replace that, let's replace that. And then this one is button unable frame. And now we can get rid of that. So let's see, we'll set al stack attack 144 equal to this variable. I don't think we're going to need Lua script line max. I think that's just a decompiler error. ivar2 is just getting, so this is just setting local 60 to ivar2, and then ivar2 to local 60, so we can just get rid of these two lines. And then ivar3 is equal to this. And then work module set int. Let's use a variable for this, just because I think it'll make the code a little bit cleaner. What to call it? Let's just do let button unable frame equal that. And then we can just copy this variable and put it in there. I think now we can go language, R, and Rust. Just so we have this thing in Rust now. Okay, and then the next thing is just a change motion now, I think. So, yeah. So it's this motion, 0.0, 1.0, and then this is all false. You can tell because of all these values. And then we'll copy this over. It's special end spin. So #40 new special end spin. And then let's just clean this up a little bit. Next up we have another get param float. So it's with the values param special n. I think a lot of these are just going to be param. Yeah, a lot of these hashes are just param special n. So I'm just going to parenthesis, let's do angle bracket or curly braces just so we know for a fact that's something that I put in there. Param special n, just so we know. So at this point we could probably just take this line and then just replace int with float from special n, and then this hash is start rotation speed. So that's FR7. Now motion module set rate. Let's start rotation speed equal that. Okay, finally an if statement. And we'll be approaching this function pretty quickly. Oh, and there's another one here. Okay. So this line's already perfectly translated because of what all we did earlier. So we're checking it with false, so we are inverting it. And then we're checking if it's not equal to 0. So if it's true, so we can put that in. And then we needed 112. Let's see, we'll undo a lot. 112 is equal to is stop. So we can just copy that, put that in there. So is stop, this always gets translated to fighter, unless we're doing like an article, in which case it would be weapon. And then 128 is false, so we put false in there. And we'll get back to what exactly this does in a little bit. Let's see, ooh, we're doing global table stuff now. Is this our only? Yeah, this is our only global table. So these DAT functions, I'm going to make actually 100% sure that that's not just another function. However, I'm pretty sure that we can just ignore that. However, I just want to be 100% sure. So we need to go to classes, Meta-Knight, status, and then this is special and spin main. Let's see, it's right here. Double click on that. Yeah, it's not really leading to anything specific. So I think we can just ignore all this code. Because this is like setting this 0 equal to fighter dot global table 015, and then setting local 60 equal to that thing. Then it's really confusing what this exactly is doing. So I think the script will be fine without all that jazz. However, if something isn't working properly, we can just put it back. We can figure out what to do. For now, we have another param float. So if we can find, yeah, there it is. There's our old one. This translates to add speed stick. And then our next function, another get param float. We should probably specify that this was originally FR7, and then we set 144 to it. By the way, you can always just ignore these return values. I know I've just glanced over them, but yeah, you don't need to recognize the fact that they're there or anything. They'll just show up in occasional scripts. So I'm just gonna reference the fact that this used to be AL stack with 144 just in case it comes up again. We have another get param float. This time it's start speed stick, or stick speed, my bad. This time it's AL stack 160. Ooh, we have some interesting stuff going on now. This is our first operator that's not just equals equals, if I remember correctly. Again, it was a while ago that I recorded the first Gidra episode, or I guess first two. The previous episode, 42, if you can see by the clock in the bottom right, I recorded that like an hour ago. Either way, FR7 is equal to get stick X, because this script also controls like how you move Game & Watch while doing neutral B. So uvar4, we can replace all this. Let's take this operator and put it in there. And then 144 is add speed stick. And I think we're pretty much done with that function. So operator less than or equal to, operator minus, they're all just, here's the math operators. So operator minus would be like AL stack 144 minus AL stack 176. And then this one, you would just move the operator to in between the statements. Pretty simple. But we're checking if all this is false, which means that we actually have to invert this. And if you've done like middle school algebra, you should know if you invert less than or equal to, you get greater than, not or equal to. So what this line is saying, if this param that we got, the add speed stick, is greater than how much the player has moved the control stick. So if I had to guess, add speed stick would probably have to be like 0.25. Let's just reference it just to make sure. I would have to guess it'd be like around somewhere between like 0.2 and 0.4. Could be higher, because if I had to guess, that value would be like how much you have to move the stick for the speed to actually change. So if we quickly do metanite param VL and extract that, we can then open it in PRC editor, export fighter metanite param VL. So it'd be param special n, and what was it again? Add speed stick 0.8. Ooh, okay. So you have to move your control stick at least like 80% of the way to the edge to get it to actually register as a, or no, maybe it's the other way around. Either way, whatever, we know what it does. If this is all true, then whatever all this does runs. So FR7 is get stick X. Let's just define stick X up here, just so we don't have to keep getting it whenever we need it. So FR7 equals stick X, and then FR7 is local 60. And then this is a little bit weird because, or maybe it's not, maybe I'm, nah, this is an operator minus actually. This is like invert. So turn a negative to a positive, positive to a negative, all that jazz. So this value, so add speed stick, L stack 176 equals a negative add speed stick. Because you can tell the difference because operator minus is going to have like a third argument, like result, although you know it's going to be like AL stack whatever, but it's going to have a result that this minus this would get set to this variable. So uvar4 equals stick X less than or equal to negative add speed stick. Yeah, and we don't need 176 anymore, so we can get away with doing that. And then we need to invert it, so take that, invert the statement, and then I showed this off in the last episode, how if it doesn't have curly braces, it just means like the singular line after it. So we're making more sense of it as we go. I wonder, oh yeah, this lab's just going to be like, go to a different, yeah, this lab is just go to the main loop, which we'll do later. Oh, we actually don't need, well, we'll need 160, but we don't need to know that this is 144 anymore because we're done with add speed stick. I know that 192 equals negative start speed stick, or stick speed. I'm going to make that mistake a lot more times. FR7 equals posture module LR. I really just want to name this facing already. FVAR7, just so we don't forget. Ooh, I'll come back to this in a little bit, because I see something that we're going to have to worry about in a bit. I'll stack 208 equals facing, and then this, because operator times this equals that. So I'll stack 176 equals stack 192 times, I just pasted, instead of 208. And then 192 is the negative start stick speed, and 208 is facing. So I can get rid of that. And what I want to do now, we don't need FR7 anymore, is just set that equal to start stick speed times facing times negative 1.0. I just like how that is a little bit more. Oh, I don't like this, but we'll worry about it. We'll figure it out. Both of these values are getting set to 0. U of R4 is 176. U of R10 is 224. U of R9 is 240. And I just realized that this is a lot simpler than I had originally thought. We're not going to need this O_01 lines. So kinetic module add speed is a little bit of a weird function because it takes a vector as an argument. I'm going to quickly reference this on Git. Kinetic module add speed, because I just want to remember how to define a vector. This is how I define a vector, at least. If you don't know what a vector is, I think I covered this in like episode 16 or whatever episode's about velocity. Just, if you don't know what a vector is, I think like 10th, 11th grade math, you should learn about it. But whenever you see something weird like this, it usually means that kinetic module add speed or another function that takes a vector is coming up. And you'll usually get like three variables like this. And you can just set them as the arguments of the vector as the x, y, and z, usually in order. So these two are already 0, so we can just get rid of those. And then just to make this look a little prettier, we'll take this and name it like let final speed, or final x speed. Fancy. And then just set it there. We don't actually need facing, or, well, we need it, but I was going to say we can put it in here, but actually I like it better not in there. And then I alluded to the fact that we might have some repeat code. I didn't actually like explicitly say it, but because I think I remember posture module LR is repeated, and then I think all this is pretty much the same, except just without this. So I'll just check real quick. I'm pretty sure this is all just the exact same code. Oh, it even uses the same variables. Yeah, so it's just without that. I'm making like 100% sure that it's not like flipped on the negative or something. Yeah. So this else is just this statement. So we don't need this statement, actually. We can just move it outside of the else. So right here, get rid of all this, and the else can get completely deleted. And then something I see with this, what this is doing is saying if add speed stick less than stick x and, or greater than stick x and it's less than negative add speed stick. So we can actually bring that down a little bit further, if I remember correctly, because this is if 0.8 less than stick x greater than 0.8. So it's just if stick x is between the positive and negative of this number. So we can say if add speed stick greater than, or let's flip it around. If stick x less than add speed stick, but stick x dot ABS for absolute value. I'm going to make 100% sure that that's how you do absolute value in Rust. Yeah, it's just .abs. So we can replace all this with just absolute value. And then we don't need to know that this is AL stack 160 anymore. Speed, stick X, yeah, we need all these. And then there's a lab. We covered this in the last episode. So subshift status main. I saved a bunch of code from the last episode just in case we need to reference it. So main loop. Or nah, let's type it out. Meta Knight special n. What is this? Spin underscore main loop. So this will be at the end, and because it's being referenced here, we'll also put it there. So what's at least this part of the code is doing is saying if our stick isn't moved at least 0.8, then we just go to the main loop. But if our stick is at least 0.8 either left or right, we add a little bit of speed first. This part of the function we'll worry about a little bit later. But what I'm going to do is edit the main loop now. Oh, we still have to optimize it first. So, special and spin main loop, and then we'll run through all of the stuff that we usually do. We'll replace app.lua_bind with nothing. This module accessor is fighter.module underscore accessor. Double underscore is replaced with double colon. Implicit gets removed. What else is there? Yeah, I think that's all other than mark all lines with tildes and get rid of them. Now we're down to like 10, like 50, 60-ish lines. So let's see. Ooh, I've never seen motion module rate in a function before. That's new. Both of these get set to 0. Another get param float. I assume I hadn't checked, but this is probably just, yeah, param special n again. I'll just make sure we know that. Param special n. And oh, this is the only time we do a get param in this file. This one is end rotation speed. Let's copy some code from this. Just the #40 part. So param special n, and then end rotation speed. And then fr7 is at AL stack 128. I'm gonna get rid of Lua script line max stuff. Just optimize that a little bit. I have been sitting here just coding for so long. I've been recording like today, like longer than some of my streams. This is just a podcast at this point. Well, welcome to episode 4 of the status script editing podcast. We forgot to replace double space with tabs. Moving on, we check if rate is less than or equal to end rotation speed. Let's do language R Rust. That's less than or equal to end rotation speed. And then we actually check if that's true, so we don't need to change anything. We can just, so I don't think we're ever gonna, yeah, we don't need this again. Do these even, we'll just need, no, we don't need these. They're not used ever again. The only time the same variables are used is for completely different stuff. So inside the if statement, we just change status. So I have changed status, right? I did not save change status. So it's time to consult the mod workshop page. Episode 42. Then change status. At this point, this is way too much work. I probably could have just remembered how to do this instead of like searching through all these files. It's false and special n end. LStack 96 is that. And then 96, or operator, yeah, I'm pretty sure operator exclamation mark is also an inversion. So it's saying that 96 is equal to the opposite of that. I'm kind of rethinking this now. Maybe all that minus stuff we did in this file is actually just actually minus, and we just had to like look at a different variable for the output. If this doesn't work, we can just go back to it. I don't think this is correct actually. I think this is just a compiler error, because why would we be getting status module is changing if we're not doing anything with it? So I think this is just supposed to be if status module is changing, or more likely if not changing. We'll come back if it doesn't work. Is this our only global table? Kinda. Ooh, I wonder what 17 is. I don't remember exactly what it is. 17 is, oh, previous situation. I thought 15 was previous situation kind, but we can add that to the top then. PLvar5 is fighter dot global underscore table, previous situation kind. It's just occurred to me that I believe this was this file. Hang on. Yeah, I believe this is actually a substatus, but I don't think we're gonna need to use it, since I really don't want to explain substatuses right now. Either way, we're checking if previous situation kind is double equals to situation kind ground. So if we were on the error, actually equals 0, so we're inverting it. And then we're checking again for fighter.global table and ground, except currently on ground. Yeah, we'll copy another public constant. Yeah, not on ground. Make sure, yeah, not on ground. Then we go to this, which is probably, just the end of the file. We might need to use that. Probably not though. I'll just in case, stack 12 equals true. However, I think this line's just gonna get deleted at the end. And then we check if previous situation or current situation kind is air, or is not air. And then, oh, we also just set it to true here. And then this lab is just bvar2 equals 112. So this file has a function. Like, I remember there being a function in both the files, if stack 112. So I think this is just going to be useless pretty much, since if this is running, then, because I'm pretty sure these are just supposed to be inside of this if statement, and the compiler just didn't like doing that. So this is probably just going to always run. And then this function might return something because of all the extra out stuff that I deleted. So this is 850. No, I don't think this function returns anything actually. So I think we can just ignore that. We'll just return 0.into. We can get rid of that line and paste this here. Except I'm just gonna remove this since I don't think it's gonna matter. Although I think down here, because we wouldn't have set, this would have been false, so that won't run if none of this ran. So now that we've done all the easy stuff, I'm gonna port these over to this file first, and we'll take both of the public constants as well. Meta-Knight, if I could spell. This is Meta-Knight special and spin main, and this is special and spin main loop. Okay, so that should hopefully be both of those functions done. We just need the status, which I believe is just fighter Meta-Knight status kind special n spin, and then it is the main. And now we have to worry about these. We'll translate them first and then figure out how we get them into the file. Ooh, this is absolutely the worst one, so I'm going to do this one first, since it seems a lot easier. So if you know how functions work, you know, they take arguments, which are then parameters when you use them, or that might be the other way around, but whatever. We pass fighter into this function, so we know that this param1 is going to have to be fighter, meaning if we see param1, we should probably just replace it with fighter. I'll talk about what this means in a bit. Just took a small break. I'm back. So a fighter.global table and a fighter.module accessor can be expressed in a couple different ways. A fighter.global table can also be expressed as fighter plus 200. I mean, definitely not like while you're actually writing your scripts, but it's kind of like fighter.global table is like 200 bits away from fighter, if I were to try to explain it. And then fighter.module accessor is across 40 bits away. So what we can actually do is just replace this with fighter.module accessor, this with fighter.global table, and it'll work just fine. So let's make this file a little more readable. We can get rid of all the tildes. Fighter.global table, replace all, and then fighter plus O cross 40, and replace with fighter.module accessor. That should be good. We can start translating now. So uvar3 is equal to fighter.global table O cross 16 equals situation kind ground. Can get rid of all that, and then we need to flip this, and then we can put this in here. And then we have to ground module correct, which I think now we got rid of all that code. So we'll need to reference Mod Workshop again. Yippee! That was episode 42, I think. Yeah, so if we can find it here, ground module correct, and then we can just copy this into there. And next up, we just put it in the wrong spot. I completely lost track of where we were, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. So, need to change kinetic type to this. So I'm gonna look up how to do change kinetic real quick, and there's nothing special to it at all. I actually expected that to be a little more difficult. I'm just gonna ignore this number. It doesn't look like it's something that I need, so I explained kinetic types in episode 44, which I think is the next one. So I'm just going to forego doing that right now. Last thing we have to do is work module set float. Oh, we haven't changed this to Rust yet. There we go. This is fvar4, this is ivar2, and then work module set float, fighter.module accessor, 0.0, and that. And that's all for this function. And now we've got one more function to do. This one is like 400 lines right now, so we're gonna have to optimize it a little before we can actually do anything with it. So language, R, Rust, then we can get rid of all of this, and then do our optimization. So mark all, remove all the lines. I wonder if like Visual Studio Code has a shortcut for that. Or before we do that, we gotta remember param2 is our fighter.module accessor, so we can replace param2 with fighter. And then param, we know that the only time this function is used, it's false. So, I mean, it would be wise to, future-proof our code and make this param3 like actually dependent on what gets passed into the function. But I really don't want to do that, so I'm just going to replace param3 with false, and there was literally only one example of that happening. So something might come of this. and you'll see later. But let's continue optimizing this real quick. Okay, that looks good enough. And it's down to only about 300 lines, so we knocked out about a quarter of it. So do these ever... Yeah, I don't think we're going to need any of these three. Yeah, because they all just get set later. Yes, we can get rid of all these. I doubt we need PLVAR 5. Yeah, I think this is just a bugged return value. Yeah, so we don't need PLVAR 5. We'll set this equal to false, and then UVAR 3 is false equals false. Or actually just false, or like param underscore 3. And then actually we test if this is false. So we invert false, so we're actually just testing if true. So all this code is getting ran no matter what. I think that's pretty much every single... Yeah, it's literally just all this will get ran, period. But we'll keep this for now. Moving on. We're not going to need that. IVAR1 is that. Oh, right. Let's replace this with fighter.module accessor, and all one occurrence, so I think there's going to be a different way they use fighter, because I remember, yeah, when we originally replaced fighter, or like param2 with fighter, there was 3 results. And okay, that covers every instance of fighter. So I think it might just use ppvvar6 as if it was fighter.module accessor for like the rest of the file. Yeah, totally does. So I think that's kind of neat. So I think we'll actually just keep that for now. Or I mean, we could just, because I don't think ppvvar6 is getting replaced with anything anytime soon. I think it's just going to stay as fighter.module accessor. Yeah, it's not getting set. So we can just take this and just replace every single instance of that with fighter.module accessor. All 27 instances. I wonder if fighter.global table. I was curious as to if fighter.global table is going to get used like that, but I don't think so. Also, this file is hell. I cannot wait to optimize this. And then, yeah, we do increase integer with that. You'll see that was a big chunk of file that we reduced down to 1 line. So if we just like continue the pattern here, this all goes in here. Then we delete all that. And then, ooh, I think we get the current motion kind. That's interesting. Then we set this to it, which I can't even tell right away if this is like even being used. We'll set that to motion kind as well, but keep the old line just in case. And then the same with that. And then lstack 176. Set that equal to that variable. IVAR1 is equal to that. And then we're actually going to set that whole thing equal to, or we're going to set IVAR1 equal to just this whole thing. And then lstack 160 is equal to that. And then we have our first operator. So it's if it's not inverted or anything. So if work module getInt is less than or equal to 0. And I don't like the way that's written, so I'm just going to flip this around. So if 0 less or greater than or equal to, if I could type. I'm going to just take it off that side, just so it's a little easier to read. And I wonder, I wonder if motion kind ever gets used. I guess we'll see. Looking less and less likely already. Does this have an else anywhere? All the way down here. I'm just gonna make all these. No, I'm not. I'm not doing anything. I'll stack 96 equals 5, and then I'll stack 160 equals this long variable, which might be the same. Yeah, it's just this. We might be able to optimize that, but not too worried. And then we set ivar1 equal to that, ivar2 equal to that, and then set an integer, and that's just setting that equal to 5. So it kind of mirrors what we did up here. Whatever, up here we increase button hop count, and then here we decrease spin start sound effect, and then see if it's less than or equal to 0 here, and then set it to 5 if it is. Whatever. Is this the same one again? No, this is different. Yeah, start sound effect counter. Let's see, this is if that's going to be inverted. 112 is getting set to 96. 96 is set to ivar1. ivar1 is get integer from this function. So we're checking if that's not equal to 96, which is 0. So if 0 does not equal that. And I mean, that's like the bulk of the bad part of the file, because this is just a lot of repetitive if statements that are going to get reduced pretty fast. Because I think this is just deciding like which sound effects to play. We'll see. Oh, I see. This could totally be optimized with like an if else, but ALStack 112. I need to check the original one real quick. So everything's getting checked with ALStack 112. Yeah, which is equal to this 96, which is equal to ivar1. So yeah, it's equal to like the getInt thing. So I'm gonna separate this actually. Figure out something to call it. Let's spin start sound effect counter equal that. Let's just do SS sound effect counter, and then we can actually flip this back around so 0's at the end. And then I think all this is just like if that is equal to 1, or no, not equal to 1. Oh, I see how this all works. Because then we check if not equal to 2, then that all goes away. And then, oh my god, I hate how this is coded. See, a lot of this code, what code? This is Meta Knight. Yeah, this is Meta Knight. But Meta Knight's originally from Brawl, or... Yeah, Meta Knight's originally from Brawl. Was he? Oh yeah, he's the first Brawl character. Oh, that's cool. Didn't know that. I have a shelf of amiibos, all in order. Or, my bad, amiibo, all in order. I just know Game & Watch is the last of Melee. Oh, that's neat. So, this code is probably written all the way back in Brawl. So, probably not optimized the best. I know there's a part of Icy's up B that just straight up, all of, like, half the code is just in a false equals false bracket. 8, and here's 9. And then we're done with that sandwich of a if statement. If I ever, anyone watching this, if I see any of your code on like GitHub and it looks like this, I'm going to ask you to like never speak to me again, exit the modding server, maybe like think about quitting modding or just coding in general. Either way, I didn't know that sound module play sound effect returned anything, because this would imply that it does. I mean, it doesn't have to, because this could just be compilers messing up, but it's setting play sound effect equal to something, so that would make me think that it returns a value. It turns a U64. I'm gonna check for this on GitHub real quick. I don't think it's gonna. Yeah, it probably just returns something that's optional. Because you can see like let sound effects handle, dash sound effect handle. Because like some people are using it, but I think this is probably just compiler being weird. But we can, I'm just gonna not have it be set to anything, or its value, because I think it would just be like, because I don't think this is gonna get used ever again. Yeah, no, the variable it's set to doesn't get used, so I'm gonna replace all this with just like the same thing but with spaces. We can paste that in there, and I'll worry about these hashes later. And I'm just gonna make the else's look a little better right now. I said I was gonna do this earlier, then I just didn't. I don't even know if editing really bothered to keep that in, but, and that's all of them. So we just copy paste, sub out the correct hash, and oh, finally something interesting, I hope. So if 144 is equal to 96, that's where motion kind comes in. Okay, and because I don't think, yeah, 96 is different, HR4 is definitely different. So I'm gonna define, like officially define motion kind up here. Let motion kind equal that. And then every time we see 144, we can, I think, yeah, we can just replace it with motion kind. There we go. So this is if motion kind does not equal this hash, and we'll come through and replace all these hashes later, and then just more of the same. I like that this is just the exact same line, and then all these are, for the most part, different, but I keep thinking that, like, they're not gonna be, and we ran into another one of those. So motion kind does not equal O cross 11. That's not the same one, is it? It's the same one. I don't even know what the Smash devs were thinking when they wrote this code. Right, another one of these with probably, yep, that's the same. I'm just gonna copy this at this point. Are these the same? Okay, at least those aren't the same hash. So that's, yeah. And I guess we could copy this, at least. That was good. Replace that hash. And we gotta do it again. At least that's the same again. Oh, I'm gonna make sure real quick that those weren't different hashes. Oh, they are. Oh, but it's the same one as down here, so didn't run into any issues. That's the same, that's the same. Okay, so we can just copy all that code and put it there. See, we're getting there eventually. We only have, put a big space there. We only have like a little bit more before, oh my god, this is awful. I'm gonna make sure all this code works once I'm done translating all of it, and then we're kind of optimizing all of it, because Jesus Christ. Yeah, okay, these are two different hashes, but the rest of it's the same. So we're done with all that, and then is this another? Yeah, this is another different hash. Or I guess they both are. So we'll replace both of those, and I think this is something that we've already used. Yeah, that's just that same counter. So we just increase it this time, or increment it. So I'm gonna copy increase int, or increment int, and then just paste it in there. Does it make sense for it to be there? Yeah, I think that's right. It could be down here also, but whatever. We'll see. And we just have barely enough code to fit on here. I guess we haven't seen param1 until just now. And all that seems to control is the return type and just if is stop. I guess if we really wanted to, we can just remove this from the function and then just replace this. So we could just do return is stop that into, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. All this code is going to be if fighter dot global table O cross 16 equals situation kind ground. Get rid of all that now. Let's stop there. So lstack 160 equals that. Then ivar1 equals that, and then fbar8 equals this as a float, and then 96 equals that, and then 128 equals that. And then FR8 is the motion rate again. And then finally, I think I talked about this either earlier this episode or in the previous episode, but here's operator minus. So it's this minus that equals this. So we can do I'll stack 96 equals stack 128 minus 160. And then immediately we set 128 to that. So we can actually do minus equals. And then operator plus, kind of useless. It's saying 160 equals 128 plus 0. So it's just 128 equals, or 160 equals 128. I'll stack 96 equals that. I think we'll stop at here. I think at that point we're getting into, okay, FR8 is 160, and then FR1 equals 96, and then we just set float, so FR8, and I'll replace this, but I'll keep FR8 as just FR8, and then 96 equals 0, and then I guess we can remove this return value line. We can work on the if statement. So it's not getting negated, so it's just if AL stack 128 is less than or equal to 96, which is 0. And 128 is, I guess, we can do FR8 instead, because it's pretty much the same thing. I wonder if this is proper syntax. I'm going to keep this, just in case it isn't. I haven't actually done this ever, but I'm pretty positive it's gonna work. FR8 equals ALStack 128 minus oh wait, yeah, we can just do this. I completely forgot about that. Ooh, global table 4. Global table 4 is fun. Oh, and we have a fighter specializer. Okay. Global table 4 is kind, if I remember correctly, which is just like... No, I think global table 4 is like a fighter call. Global table 2, I think, is what I'm thinking of, because I think that's fighter kind. And now that I think about it, yeah, I wouldn't know why that would... Yeah, so it's just fighter. So it's a fighter call. Okay, not as fun as I thought it was going to be, but we can do fighter specializer Meta Knight, set special n ground effect as fighter.globalTable O cross 4, and there's probably an easier way to do this, so I'm going to see if anyone has used this in specific before. I doubt it. Yeah, no. Any Meta Knight fighter specializer? Ooh, yeah, yeah. That's a hook. That's a script dump. That's also a script dump. Yeah, okay, we'll check CPP. Oh my god. This might be like a good draw thing. Yeah, no, it's not in CPP. So this, I think this just translates to fighter. But we'll see what happens when we build it. I don't feel like naming these variables right now, so I'm just gonna rename all this to let. And then, oh, I guess this function isn't going to return anything anyway, so I don't think that first parameter really matters. And that, I believe, is now the whole function. I guess we'll replace these hashes. It's going to be fun replacing all those. Oh, I think I know what it's going to be. It's all going to, these are just going to translate to like swish 5, swish 6, swish 7. Replace all examples of that with hash 40, new, remember the quotes, and replace all. And then this is, yep, Meta Knight swish 6. I'm just going to see if the rest are like swish, I don't think this is going to be like swish 7, but oh, it's swish 7. This one, and it's not in there. So this one we just won't replace for now, but This one was swish 06, and this one is swish 07. I'm gonna put a note, or I was gonna say like that's swish 08, but then I just remembered that it is not swish 08. All of this is checking for the same motion. If I had to guess, it would probably be like special N spin air. Spin C3, okay. Guess we could replace all that with just this all. And then this one we couldn't find. How about this? This is probably wrong file. This is probably swish 9. Okay, getting fancy. I'm gonna guess this one can't be found. Yeah, okay. Because it's fine to keep the hashes, it'll understand. This is swish 10. Should have remembered to replace all instances, but I don't think it matters right now. This one, I'm gonna guess swish 11. Yep. So now we can replace all instances. This, yeah. This one, I mean, we haven't seen swish 8. Oh, this is just 9 again, right? We haven't seen swish 8 at all, so I wonder if that's gonna come in at all, or it's not going to. Yeah, this one couldn't be found. Come on, big money, come on. Swish 7, okay. Then the last one is found. Okay, now that this is translated to the best of my ability, at least not optimization-wise, just now we can actually put the function in this file. So I'm gonna copy this real quick. I know that these functions don't return anything, so I'm going to remove this return, and then I'm gonna rename this to just this function, and then all this can get pasted in there. And then we'll do that again for the other function, but we'll have to do something a little bit different. First, we'll take the function name, paste that in there, and then I guess since we don't need the if true, we can just paste it all without the if true. But then this is all the parameters of the function, but since it has 3 parameters, we need to specify all of them. I mean, I guess the parameters aren't technically being used, but I'm just going to put them in here to practice anyway. So we can put param1 colon bool as the type. You can see it's name and then type. And then we can also just do param underscore 3 as bool. And I can almost guarantee that there's going to be at least one error, so let's see what it is. Oh, a mismatched delimiter. Line 46. So it's somewhere in this function, or maybe it's on the previous function somewhere, but oh, no, I see. It's just that one. And now it's going to give me the actual errors. 32. I mean, that's not that bad. Okay, yeah, most of them are just the same. I know we forgot a semicolon somewhere. I'm going to see if I can find what that semicolon is first. Okay, I can. I'll just follow the other errors first. So because we couldn't translate the hashes, we'll need to put them in a little bracket. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a faster way to do this. Actually, I'm going to test right here, because I think it might be hash 40 like that. And if it spits an error, then we know that that's not how that works. Line 34. There we go. Yeah, okay. So this at the very bottom, this is just fighter. Maybe it's not just fighter. I think if we do mutable fighter like that, it might work. I wonder if it's mad about... Yeah, it doesn't like this. So I think we do have to do this stupid long thing. Then I saw while looking at the errors, we have to wrap the 0 in a sound effect type. So if we replace all of that with the same thing, but the 0 is wrapped, we shouldn't run into any issues there. Right, 169, we need this to be a float. We can't check directly for that, or we need like, I forgot, how do you, am I being stupid? How do you check for motion kinds? Because I'm pretty sure I've done it before. I know I've done it before. If motion kind. Oh yeah, it's just like the small hash 40, which is the thing that I tried. For the other example, hash 40, and then like that. Replace all, so that should be more errors done. And we're already down to 10. I'm gonna take a short break. I'll be back in about a second. Alright, I'm back. Time to fix the rest of the errors. I know I just used the wrong hash function on 47, so I believe this should all be just hash 40 like that. And then probably need to do that here as well. Alright, just 7 left. We need a semicolon on 37. Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'll put one on 43 too, just in case. 23, I need to do the hash function stuff. I don't remember ever just like straight up using the wrong hash function, so I think we keep this one now. But 19 we probably change, because that's get param. So get param uses this one, and then motion module uses the other one, because they both technically return different things. I'll get to this. Help remove the semicolon. Fine. Line 43. I'll take the semicolon out. Okay, I forgot to remove the underline on 75. Oh, and then I just forgot to change this to fighter. I wonder if there's... I think that's the only instance. And then we just have to figure out what's going on with fighter specializer. I think I'll just try, like, looking up instances of various fighter specializers on GitHub, and I'll see what I can find. Maybe I need specifically, or because this one uses a BOMA. I don't think I've tried just a straight up BOMA yet. What line is that error on? 170. Yeah, what if we actually just try fighter dot module accessor? If that's what it is, I'm gonna be upset. Okay, yeah, I wanted specifically a mutable fighter, and if we try this, it's gonna yell at us like wrong mutable type or whatever. Yeah, because that's technically a LTC fighter common. I mean, there's probably a better way to go about solving this, but oh, idea and mutable. I think I almost tried that. I think I tried like asterisk. Oh no, it just used fighter common twice. Maybe actually if we do, because what was it originally? Global table. What if we just change that to an and? Nah, okay, back to GitHub. Oh, we can try this as well. We can just do fighter.module accessor as a specific type. So I forgot exactly what type it was asking for, but I think it might have been that. Oh, I just need to remove app, I think. Oh, what if we try just literally as the type that you want? There we go. Okay, now we're going to test this in Smash and see if it works. I would just do the edits first to have them move to what we want to do, but I just want to make sure that we actually translated the code right. Actually, just to make 100% sure that one, the code runs, and it runs right, I'm going to do like, what's something obvious that we can put here? We could like summon an effect, or mod workshop. Let's see, what's some, oh, we can just like add percent. I think, yeah, 8 is the adding damage episode. Put that at the beginning, so Meta Knight should get 8% added, as he does neutral B. Okay, so we know the code is running because Meta Knight adds 8%, but you can tell that something's not quite right, because I'm not holding anything, he's just going that way. If we hold right, you'll see he kind of goes to the left a little bit beforehand, and if we hold left, he sort of flies off a lot faster. So I think we just need to like tweak a function a little bit, and then we'll also add the code that I wanted to add at the beginning. We know the code runs, so we can just get rid of that. We shouldn't have to edit the main status anymore. We can run through this, see if there's any issues with main. So it would be adding speed that would probably be the issue. We're not adding Y or Z speed, that makes sense. Final X speed, facing times -1 times start stick speed, and start stick speed we just get. We only add speed if the stick is less than 0.8. I'm gonna comment 0.8 there, which I'm gonna test real quick. We seem to always be adding speed, but I'm also not 100% sure. It also seems to add more speed when we're on the ground than in the air. So that's something we should look out for as well. I'm gonna remove the times negative 0.1 because I think that might be some of our issue, but let's see, anything with the main loop. So if we were on the ground, then it adds, this is probably just the add speed function. If we were on the ground, or if we were in the air, and we're now, I don't think we need to do all these checks, since I think we'll be adding speed no matter what. So I'm going to see what happens if we just comment all that out, and just replace all of this with that. So we should, no matter what, be adding speed, and then we'll return. I think I'll also add the function that we wanted to add too. We can just do, or let's copy code from Mod Workshop real quick. I think it's the K-Rool episode, like 10. We can just grab, if we can find it, check button on, control pad button attack. So that just checks if we press the A button. I'm going to copy some phosphor code too, real quick. I'm pretty sure all it does is just guarantee that the correct aerial comes out. Let's see, it's actually in the jab script. Yeah, it's, I guess this looks better, but on the same level as this. But this, yeah, this code should just have the correct aerial coming out. We could probably just turn this into a function, but I'm fine with it being there for now. This, I think, is just like doing effects and stuff. And then actual like adding speed should be this section right here. Or this is if we're currently on the ground. Oh, I know why. Because this is the function that adds speed, and it's currently in a if we're on the ground bracket. So we'll just take that out. And then we'll build it again. Not get any errors. Oh, okay, I know what all that is. We just need to replace agent.module accessor with fighter.module accessor, because we copied from some code that used agent. Okay, now it should work fine. Yeah, now we'll put this in Smash and see if it works. Oh, oops. We made the game crash somehow. That's probably not good. I think I know what it probably is. It probably has to do with what we did here. So let's just run through this code again real quick. Saying if we were in the air and we're now, oh, so yeah, this is just entirely, yeah, so I think we just made a mistake there because this code is entirely like effect related stuff, as you can see here. So I think we just messed up some situation kind of stuff there. Just to be safe, we didn't edit, I mean, we did edit the script, but I mean, this is effect related. Or maybe this is all, I think this is all effect related actually. Yeah, this isn't speed at all. I think this is just, yeah, no, that's not speed at all. We need that if statement. So all the speed, where does the speed come from then? I think it's actually just main. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense, it just being main. Add speed stick, we might have to, no, we don't add that or anything. So I think final speed, start, what is start stick speed? I probably just should have kept this file open, but start stick speed for neutral special, start stick speed 1.5. So I mean 1.5 is a good amount of speed. I think this script is actually correct now. I think I've been through this like multiple times at this point, but it's just saying if we've moved the control stick enough, because this just automatically moves to the main loop if we haven't moved it enough. So this is just add the speed if we have, which I think when I'm actually using Meta Knight Neutral B, that like you can change the trajectory a lot more than you actually can. Because I don't think there's that big of a difference. I think you just get initial speed, and that's it. We'll test it, and again, see what happens. Okay, it doesn't crash, and we're not getting that weird speed effect. And we can add speed just fine. And now we should test if we can cancel it, which we can't actually. So I'm pressing the A button, nothing's happening. And I think I know why actually. So let me explain. I believe, yeah, in the main status, there's button unable stuff. So I think this might disable button presses. I don't think this code directly does, but it's probably related to that, since like the exec status or something might determine which frame buttons are enabled for. So let's go back to PRC editor. Button enable frame. So this is probably the frame in which you can start pressing buttons again. So I think what we'll do is comment out both of these lines, copy this, and just manually set the button enable frame to, I would do 0, but I'm just going to do 1 to be sure. And hopefully that should mean that we can press buttons still. Okay, I think the code just wasn't running last time. So you can tell because I got rid of the facing. He's now going the other direction at the start. However, like I showed off how functions work. I'll just fix the code off screen before uploading it. But you can see, you can cancel it with aerials. If I could try to demonstrate real quick. Ooh, let's get the CPU further over here. Then I don't know, we could recover with that and then cover with neutral B and attack right out of it. It's pretty hard with like with gravity taking over, like the instant you get out of the move, but it works. It works. I mean, our error we know isn't with one of the functions. It's related to speed, and all the functions just refer to effects. So I'm pretty happy with that. Plus, I have stuff to do like right after this, and in fact, I'm like 25 minutes late. Either way, all the code will be available in item 1 of the description. I hope this helped, and happy modding!